Hey, welcome to episode 43 of the Rugged Angel Cast. I am your host, Kahmeela, and happy day to you. I don't know what day it is you're listening to this, so I can't get any more specific than that. Or good evening. You could be listening at night. I don't know. If you want to listen to the radio show, though, you can listen to those on WMCK.FM on Wednesdays are the new shows at 9 p.m. And then those repeat on Thursdays at 5 p.m. and again on Mondays at 10 a.m. You can go to WMCK.FM for more information. You can also go to the Rugged Angel Productions Facebook page. You can go to RuggedAngel.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at @the_RuggedAngel. Shout me out. Be like, yo, when is the show? When's the radio show on? When can I catch it? I'll let you know. We can have a conversation, that kind of thing. And if you have any suggestions for music for me to play, I would love to hear those, as well as suggestions for guests to have on the show. I'm a little bit behind. I've gotten some requests, and I hear you. I see you, but I'm in the process of moving right now, so things are in shambles. As I'm recording this, as soon as I'm done recording this intro, I'm going to pack up my little podcast equipment, put it in a box, and be on my way to the new house. So as anybody who's ever moved knows, it can be trying. So I'm going to get to all those emails and everything, I promise, ASAP, and we will have like a bunch of new guests in the next coming months. Pittsburgh. It's always going to be, more than likely, it's always going to be an announcement for Pittsburgh because that's where I am, and that's the info that I get until somebody wants to give me, you guys want to send me some information on what's happening in your town, I will happily shout that out. But for now, Pittsburgh Second Shift Crafters is coming up, and they're looking for crafters and artists. If you don't know, Second Shift Crafters is a group of renegade crafters who don't believe in limits. So if you're in Pittsburgh and you craft, they want to talk to you. You can find Second Shift Crafters on Facebook and apply for the Spring It On /Pizza Fest. That's right, Pizza Fest, happening on May 14th. This year, and they don't jury the shows. They provide everyone with a chance to market their crafts, and as long as you pay the fee, they've got room for you. So just make sure to go to their Facebook page, get more information, and talk to those ladies over there. If you're listening to this podcast on WMCK.FM, then you're listening to the radio show, and that means you're in for an extra treat today, because today I have decided to celebrate the fierce femmes of the 90s. And it's not just the front women. You're going to hear some of the badass bassists like Darcy Wurtsy, I never know how to say her name, of the Smashing Pumpkins, as well as Sean, Yetzolt from White Zombie. Don't know how to say her last name either. Sorry, ladies. That doesn't take away from the fact that you guys kick major ass. Also, we're going to be hearing from Lenny Kravitz's boss-ass drummer Cindy Blackman. So grab your flannel, lace up your Doc Martens, and settle in. We're going back to the 90s musically today, and it's going to be fun. Alyson Stephan is our guest today. She is a self-starting entrepreneur and filmmaker. She's been away from Pittsburgh for over 20 years now, but she's back. And while she was away, she was busy starting businesses and making movies and teaching Robert De Niro how to use a computer. The usual things you do when you move away from home. Alyson is a risk taker, and I really like that about her. So not only if you're listening to the radio show, you're going to get a bunch of 90s throwbacks, you're going to get to listen to Alyson talk about her life. And I always say this, but I am super stoked for you to learn more about her because I was excited to learn more about her as well. Your fear of looking stupid is holding you back, just so you know. Now let's get into the show. Alyson Stephan, welcome to the Rugged Angel Podcast.
Thank you, Kahmeela. It's good to be here.
I am excited to get to know you and know who you are, because outside a little time with Joe Manganiello, we haven't spent too much time together.
That was really great.
I mean, as far as, stories go, or as far as, just having spent just a little bit of time with someone.
Right.
That could be worse.
It could be.
But outside of that, remind me, though, how we even know each other. Because I know that we were Facebook friends, and but
For the 48-hour film festival, I think that's how we met on the meet and greet.
okay.
And then yeah, in Facebook you posted, "Hey, I need somebody to help me out at the Hollywood Theater tonight." And you didn't say what it was. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. So I'm like, I'll do it.
Bonus.
And then when I found out it was Joe Manganiello, I was like, yes.
Finally, being a giver pays off.
Right.
Well, excellent. Well, how is your day going so far?
Not bad. For the last week, I've kind of been with my niece and nephew because they've been on spring break and they've been all kinds of sick. So that's no fun.
How old are they?
My nephew is 11 and my niece is 8.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Poor kids. Like, even though you wait all this time, you got spring break, you're off of school
right.
legitimately, and now you're sick.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything, really.
Right. But luckily, I came out of that whole thing unscathed.
Well, that's good. It wasn't like a bunch of like projectile vomiting and stuff. Or
no, it was.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay. Do you have any kids? You just have, it's just
no,
okay.
don't.
So you're just being a good aunt and
yes, right.
and helping out.
And right now I work from home, so
Okay.
I can, and so when I can help out, I do.
Okay. Are you from Pittsburgh originally?
I am.
Are you?
Yes.
Born and bred here in Pittsburgh.
I am. And then I left when I was 17 to go to college.
Where'd you go?
I went to the University of Tampa in Florida.
How'd you like that?
I liked it a lot. I had never even heard about the school. I was applying to like Carnegie Mellon and different schools around here, and then they wrote to me and said, "Hey, you're eligible for this scholarship." And so I flew down with my dad, and as soon as I saw the minarets on the building, and it's like gorgeous, and wow, there's the beach and the river, and this is where I want to go.
I'll bet.
But I met with the dean, and I didn't want to go to a huge school with like a lot of, fraternity, sorority craziness.
You're not about that Greek life?
Not so much. I don't think you should have to buy your friends.
Word. Agreed.
But, I see the value in it. I just wasn't for me.
I still haven't really seen the value.
I guess
don't
it's like
understand.
a networking thing.
I guess. I mean, I guess with certain, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, that's your thing.
Right.
But I did try a sorority.
I'm not going to hate
like,
on the sororities.
Yeah.
But at the same time.
Yeah. Like I
wasn't for
tried
me.
a sorority for like a month. I was like, I'm okay. I'm good. And I just kind of backed out of it. What you studied film?
Communications and writing. I was a double major.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what brought you to that? Where did you?
Well, I thought it was going to be a computer science major. And I took an elective class when I was, I think, a freshman in college. And it was video as a means of personal communication or something like that. And I ended up doing a documentary on transvestites, transsexuals, and female impersonators.
Interesting. At
this local club in Tampa called Trax. And I think there was one in Atlanta, also in Miami. And I interviewed the people that worked there. And anyway, it won a bunch of awards. And and my professor in that class, John Cola, shout out, said, you should keep doing this. You have something here, and you should do it. So really, it was just that kind of encouragement that made me change my. I don't think at that time I had even declared a major, but I was pretty sure it was going to be computer systems or computer science.
Nice. So, first of all, is this documentary still available to be seen?
I have it. Yeah. It's actually on 3/4-inch tape, so I need to get it transferred because that's how old I am.
I was going to ask, is it VHS or is it like like a Betamax? Or are we looking at what are we looking at here? Okay, understandable. Understood. And so, So you before that you hadn't delved into filmmaking at all? You hadn't played around with it?
Not really, just some photography. My dad is a really, really excellent amateur photographer, and so I kind of learned some things from him, and then just kind of did it on my own. But no, as far as I never had a video camera or a Super 8 camera growing up or anything like that. So just like a little 35 millimeter and a Polaroid.
Nice. And you never thought about doing that? Like going to college for that?
I took photography courses in college, but I wanted something that I could have a career, make money.
Make
from.
money.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Now,
Right.
I mean, if you don't want to answer this is fine. But what year did you graduate high school?
88.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. I just assumed you were like 90. You were going to say like 94, 95.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, yes, it was kind of a different time at that point. I graduated in 94.
Okay.
And even at that point, it was still kind of like, you can't go to school for photography. I'm not so sure if that's really what. And
Right.
like, I wanted to go to school for film, but the college in my hometown, which I was kind of stuck to go to, was the closest I got was like communications broadcasting. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then I decided not to. So it's like, it's just it's interesting to see like what you're allotted, what is to your exposure at that point in time, and you just kind of take with it what you will.
Right. Back then, there was no such thing as independent film. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't around. Slackers wasn't made yet.
Yeah, that was like what, 90?
Yeah, I think so. I was in college at the time, but yeah, it wasn't, so
And that
there
was
wasn't.
the thing, that was the thing that just kind of like, whew, like
Yeah.
took it over the edge, where everyone was like, oh, paying attention to independent film at that point.
Right. Like, oh, anybody can do this kind of thing. Like, oh, you don't need a big Hollywood studio to back you, or,
Right.
And now it's so easy because you don't have the expense of film
Right. Oh, jeez.
and the cameras and the renting the cameras and
You
all
kids
that.
don't know how lucky you have it
It's
now.
true. It's so easy. Like, anybody could make a movie now.
Did you learn to edit on film?
I did. Yeah.
I did too, and I really liked it. Like, I loved it. There was something about touching the film, and even still with
Yep.
like photography. Like, I kind of miss the dark room and developing actual photos myself.
Me too. And like, editing the film with the white cotton gloves on, and
Yes. It's something so scientific about it.
I know,
like, it's
it is.
like really
It's like
in there.
working in a lab.
Right, you get like the chalk, like the grease pen, and
Yep.
you're doing things, and you're yes.
It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I kind of miss that. I don't get to see like the cutting, like scenes that make the cutting room floor almost doesn't make sense anymore.
Right.
As a
Because you can
thing.
just shoot and shoot and shoot. Before, you had to be really economical with your cuts.
Yeah.
While you were shooting it, you had to know exactly what you wanted to shoot and kind of and get it.
Right.
Because you didn't have all day to just do it, the take 50 or 100 times.
No, and not to mention just like straight up linear editing.
Right.
Um.
Right. I know. What a pain, when
Yes.
in video editing too, you're
Right.
like,
Even yes.
like reverse, fast
We have
forward,
two
reverse.
tape decks.
I
Two
know.
tape decks.
Like, really?
It was it was a very much a strenuous process, but still I dug it. And I remember like
Yeah.
before I even went to school, I hooked up 2 VCRs and I would edit that way at my house when I was like in high school. Did you shoot your documentary on film, or was it?
No, it was a camera,
Okay.
like a video camera.
Nice. So, did you continue writing films, or have you?
I
after
did, yeah.
the
And
fact?
at that time at the University of Tampa, they had the communications department was there, but they didn't have film classes.
Mhm.
So I would go to USF, the University of South Florida, which was also in Tampa, North Tampa, and take film classes there. And then the University of Tampa's like, we can't have our students going over there. And so basically because of me, they started a film program.
Oh, well, look at you, innovator!
Yeah, I know. So
Leading the way.
yeah.
So, were you in Tampa up until you graduated, and then you
Yeah.
came back to Pittsburgh?
No, I just came back a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, where did you go after
I
graduation?
was gone for 23 years.
Really?
Yeah. After graduation, I went to London. I lived there for a year. While I was making all these films and videos, I was applying for grants, and I started little,
Mm-hmm.
and I would work my way up to the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a pretty big grant to make a film adaptation of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland.
Really?
That's what I wanted. Yeah. Because everyone's like, you can't do it. It can't be done. It can't be done. I'm like, I'll do it.
see.
So, yeah. So I went to London and lived there for 6 months to a year.
Wow.
You can only stay for 6 months, and then you have to
Okay.
leave, and then you have to come back to
So
shoot
your
it.
Visa, or?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. When they stamp out your passport, enter to leave within 6 months.
Mm.
So, and while I was there, the grant covered a lot, but I still worked as a bartender in London.
In London.
Yeah, it's Zelda's. And,
That sounds awesome.
72 Charlotte Street. Yeah, in Fitzrovia. It's NoHo. It was great.
That sounds
It was right next to Saatchi and Saatchi.
like how fucking great.
It was great. And here I am by myself. I'm like 21, 20,
in London,
21.
slinging drinks, making
Yeah.
movies, like
Yeah.
on a grant. Like, yeah.
So that was fun. And then while I came back and I was like, I know I need to edit this, and I wanted to do it like with a Oxbury stop motion camera.
Mm.
You know, have you seen Chris Marker's La Jetée?
No.
It's an artsy kind of film. It's made with mainly still photos, but then, you know, they moved in on it. Kind of like what Ken Burns does now.
Oh, okay. There it is.
So there you go, like that. But maybe with a little bit of live action in between.
Mm.
So that's what I wanted to do. And post-production for that was going to be crazy expensive if I went to like a post house somewhere, you know. So I applied to NYU to grad school, got accepted, didn't have to take the GRE because they were like, okay, you're in. And it was so great. I mean, again, it was just like, it was so great. So I went to the Gallatin School for Individualized Study and finished my master's in filmmaking, writing, and literature.
Wow. Now, because you started film school earlier, did you find it difficult being a woman in filmmaking? Did you come across any
Actually, I think it was better because I was. I mean, I think for me, I mean, people were more receptive, I think, to me than they would be if I was some guy asking to take your picture or, hey, can you sign this release form so I can shoot this?
Yeah.
You know, I think that probably helped me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I wasn't, you know, playing with the big boys at that time. You know, it was really small, independent, artsy films.
Yeah,
so.
But still, like when I was at the Art Institute, it's just in like the video film program. I kind of there's this preconceived notion that women don't know what they're talking about, like you know, the whole mansplaining with technical technicalities of things and technology, and you know, even as far as, you know, just your opinions of, the best directors are blah blah blah, and you know, you don't understand this blah blah blah.
Right. I still think that there is a ridiculous shortage of female directors. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and just putting it out there, ladies, we would really like to see more female directors, more women directors, more women writers, more, you know, out there. And I know you're out there. Yeah. I know they're out there, especially for the 48-hour film project in Pittsburgh. Yeah, like, you know, I want to see some more women-led teams. Yeah, that's what I really want, or even just like all-female team. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I'll do that.
Excellent. Challenge accepted. Alyson, coming in. So you were in NYU, and you were there how long?
3 years.
3 years.
But I lived, so my last year there, I was there from 95 to 98, and my last year there in 1996. Now, I had received like a scholarship and a grant for NYU, but it didn't cover. New York is very expensive. I mean, it's crazy expensive. Yeah. So I had to work, you know, and go to school and teach undergrads. Ooh. And I worked at the Tribeca Film Center, which Robert De Niro owns. Nice. And it's I learned a lot. I mean, Miramax was in the building on the fifth floor. I was on the 6th floor. Robert De Niro was on the 8th floor. And I have great Robert De Niro stories.
Plural. Well, okay, we're going to put a pin in that. You're going to tell me one or two of them.
I'll tell you one.
Okay.
All right. So I had never met him, but I knew, you know, he was around, you know, and occasionally. So I come in, I say hey to Baker, the door guy and the security man, and I go into one of the 2 elevators there in the lobby, and this guy comes in, and he's pretty little, and he's looking kind of scraggly, you know, like. Yeah. And but you know how you can feel when somebody's staring at you? Uh-huh. Well, I felt like he was, like, I could tell. And I turned around, I'm like, what? and he's smiling, and he's like all shy, and he's looking at the floor, and he's like, hi, I'm Bobby. And I said, hi, I'm Alyson. He said, do you work here? And I said, yeah. And he said, what do you do? I said, I work for the Duck Corporation. We're on the 6th floor, and we do video compression technology, you know, like putting movies onto DVDs. And he said, "Oh, have you ever done one of my movies?" And I said, "Well, I tried to do The Bronx Tale, but I couldn't find 5 consecutive minutes without the word fuck." And he started laughing, and the elevator goes ding. And so I go to my office, and 5 minutes later, I get a call from one of his 3 assistants.
Wow.
Who says, "Bobby wants to see some of your work." So I was like, "Bobby?" I'm like, "Robert De Niro?" And they're like, "Yeah, Bobby." It's like, okay. So I called the CEO of the company and I said, "Bobby wants to see our work." And he said, "Who's Bobby?" And I'm like, "Robert De Niro." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So, I mean, this was, we had to bring a huge monitor up there, like high def, because that was the only thing that was high def. And basically a whole computer stack and everything. And so we set it up on his desk. And I'm sitting next to him behind his desk, and I'm showing him how like the DVD menu works and everything. He picks up the mouse and he points it at the screen and he's like, "Neat, neat," like it was a remote control. And I'm like, "No, that's not how it works. You have to." And he's like this, and he puts his hand on my hand, and I'm like, "Yeah, like that."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So basically, I taught Robert De Niro how to use a computer.
Nice.
I know. It's pretty awesome.
That's on the resume.
No, it's not. But
oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And yeah, Bronx Tale might be one of my favorite Robert De Niro.
I know, it's really, they're all so good. He's so good. But you really can't. And Bob and Harvey Weinstein were on the 5th floor. They're Miramax and Dimension. Right. And I've met them too, and they're great. And I said one time to Harvey Weinstein, I asked him, like, everybody that I've ever met, except with very few exceptions, like Vince Vaughn and Nicole Kidman, are really short.
Vince Vaughn, we're gonna put that there. Oh, okay, we'll come back to that.
No. But
what?
I don't want to. No,
but I love Vince Vaughn. Okay, you can tell me off air.
Okay. And I said, "What's the deal? Why are all these actors so short? They're like super short." And he's like, "Oh, that's so we can make the sets 1/3 size and we save money." And I'm like, "Come on." And I was like,
no.
I did. I looked at him. I'm like, is he serious? Because that's something he would totally say, but is he serious?
Right.
I still don't know.
Right. That totally just makes you still think, like, really hard. Like, is this for real? Is that true? I mean, maybe I could see that, like, starting off that way.
Is he fucking with me?
Like, I could see that starting off like that, like, like 40s and the 50s.
Yeah.
Where, like, a lot of the sets were, but I think a lot of sets nowadays are, on location or, so, oh my God.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm going to have to
do
some research.
But yeah, so that was interesting. So anyway, I worked there for 2 years, from 1996 to 1998. And I learned a lot, and it was great. But I was thinking, well,
wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you said you were working there and doing the DVD compression.
Yes.
So you were transferring the VHS films.
We were creating the algorithms.
Wow.
Yes. And then we were doing, we had clients like Microsoft, Apple, Cisco. I mean, they were basically at the forefront of DVD compression. They had they developed the first, algorithm to really compress video but not lose all the quality of the video. It still looked sharp.
And this is, like you said, 95, 96.
96, 98.
96, 98.
Yeah.
And that was really before, I would imagine, that DVDs really took off and became mainstream.
Right.
What were your thoughts, like, when you first learned about this technology? Like, how did you react to that? Like, why would we do this?
I was like, this is super cool.
Yeah.
And I was the only woman working in this company.
Really?
They were all programmers, and they were all men.
Wow.
And so when you asked if I had any like thoughts of feeling like, oh, this is rough being a woman filmmaker, I didn't. But when I worked there, yeah, pretty much,
Really?
like, oh, you're a woman, you don't know anything about coding. Oh, you're a woman, you don't know anything about programming. Like, we're smart engineers, and you're a woman.
Anyway,
right.
But that's really cool that you got to see all that happen behind the scenes, like right there in the forefront of the technology. That's fucking crazy, because I don't even I think I kind of sort of remember like when I first heard about learned about DVDs, and that was probably not till 2000 when I really started to kind of grasp onto everything, and I'm trying to explain to my mom. I was like, oh yeah, like the best thing about it is there's gonna be a bunch of extras, like you can watch like behind the scenes stuff and blah blah blah. But that's really cool. I had no idea. So carry on.
So anyway, in the beginning of 1998, I was thinking, I knew I was going to finish. I was basically almost done with my master's, all my, coursework and everything, and finished editing my film, The Wasteland. And I was thinking, what's next? Do I want to stay here for another whatever? And so many things were happening so quickly with technology at the time. And I wanted to break out and do something on my own. And I noticed that in all of Manhattan, and actually the 5 boroughs of New York, there was only one other company doing motion picture advertising. So, and they were charging a ridiculous amount of money for, trailers, TV spots, radio spots, print ads, that kind of thing.
One company was doing
only
this
one
in the 5
company
boroughs?
in all of
Wow.
the 5 boroughs of New York.
Huh.
So I said, I can do that. So that's what I did. I started my company, Shinola Films,
Nice.
in 1998 in New York City.
Wow.
And I poached my creative director / editor from Miramax Films. And it went, we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And we worked on pretty much almost every Miramax and Dimension Films release.
Wow.
And then we did a lot of stuff for the shooting gallery, which I don't think is around anymore. A lot they did the Billy Bob Thornton movie, Sling Blade, and things. And so anyway, we did a lot of independent stuff.
So explain for those who don't know, like what was your task? Like what were you doing?
Producing and directing all the advertising campaigns for feature films.
Nice.
So the trailers that you see in the theaters before the movies. They are called trailers because they used to be after the movies, but now with like 15-minute long credits, nobody would stay.
No one would ever see them.
No. And then TV spots, radio spots, print ads, websites,
That's
you name
fantastic.
it.
And once again, like you were like really like in the beginning, because even websites, because wasn't it that Blair Witch Project was one of the first movies to have a website?
Well, they were the first ones to really use the internet for marketing, really cool marketing.
I forget who it was. I know
Artisan.
Artisan.
That was an Artisan movie.
Okay. But yeah, to that must be really exciting to come up with the campaigns for films.
It was so much fun, like people would send us the movies. Sometimes we'd get dailies, which was still kind of fun, but then you're watching 50 takes of the same scene over and over again. And if you've ever seen a trailer, a teaser usually in the theater, and you're like, oh, that's hilarious, and then you go see the movie and you're like, where's that scene?
Right.
Where is it? Well, it's because we edited it from the dailies and it didn't make the cut in the movie. That's why.
So now you know, guys.
Now you know. So yeah, but it was fun because you watch the movie. Sometimes you have to watch it a couple of times, and you come up with the tagline. Sometimes the producer or the director calls and they're like, "We need a new title."
Great.
Right. Sometimes producers and director call at like 3:00 in the morning saying, "I'm going to fire the director."
Oh my God.
Yeah, that happened with Wes Craven and Bob Weinstein on Scream.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So what was one of your favorite campaigns that you created?
Scream 3 was fun. By that time, Bob Weinstein was going to fire Wes Craven because he said the mask wasn't scary enough. And
from the first
like,
Scream?
Yes. Everyone's like, but that's not the point. Like,
Yeah.
So, but
yeah,
obviously,
like we're totally. It's not the mask that's supposed to be
right.
Get it? Yeah.
Right. But once Scream was a huge hit, and so he and Wes Craven were fine.
They're fine. It was okay.
They're
like they did all right.
Yeah. The Illusionist was great.
That was the one with Edward Norton.
Right.
Okay.
And Jessica Biel. And Mystery Men was fun because Tom Waits.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what were
There's
like
so
some
many.
of the campaigns that you did? Was there anything outside of just the trailers and teasers and websites and stuff for like Mystery Men? Was there anything
Yeah.
extra that made it special?
Well,
for you?
yeah. I started going to the shoots usually, when they were shooting the movie, and interviewing the actors and things for the B-roll for the DVD extras.
Gotcha.
So that was fun. That was, it's nice to, get out of your
Yeah.
fuel fattening pen once in a while.
Okay, so why? Why are you no longer doing that?
Well, I did it for 10 years, and I ended up getting
That's a
married.
good long time.
Yeah, I ended up getting married to my creative director and editor because we were always together. I didn't have time for another relationship. I didn't have.
You know
like,
what? We're both here.
I know. It wasn't like that, but after he, between the time when he left Miramax and when we started my company, it was my but whatever, our company. He had never traveled. He hadn't taken a vacation in 12 years.
Oh,
he hadn't
wow.
done anything. So I'm like, let's go to Europe. And we'll, go around. And at that time I had, lots of friends because I had lived there, and he had a couple of friends there. And so we took a couple of months off, and that was like okay, we're going to do this 2-month blowout vacation, and then we're going to get to work.
Nice.
And it's going to be crazy, but at least we'll have that.
Yeah, 2-month vacation. Jeez,
Right.
I think that's great.
So, yeah. And so when we were out, we were doing this, and we went, as kind of friends, and it ended up as something more. And he
really?
ended up asking me to marry him on the Ponte Vecchia bridge in
Wow.
Florence, and it was very romantic, and I was kind of swept away by the moment. And and again, we were together all the time. We got
Right.
along really well,
Mhm.
and so we ended up getting married, and then and we were together for 10.5 years.
Oh wow, that's a good long time.
That is a good long time. And when you work and live with somebody,
Yeah.
that's like 40 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. And so, but it didn't work. Like it wasn't
It's
a
like
good.
once you had a moment to catch your breath, I guess, like with all the work and everything.
Right.
Was that just kind of like you both kind of?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like, he had some addictions that were a problem, and,
Yeah. It's understandable. Well,
Yeah.
at least you had that time together, and if anything, it's absolutely a learning process or experience.
Oh, yeah.
And you always have, at some point, there were some good times, and you
Oh,
have
yeah.
those.
That's right. But then, it was a horrible 4-year-long divorce.
Eugh.
4 years.
I guess there was a.
We don't have kids. Like Madonna got divorced in during that time. Like all these famous couples got divorced in the 4 years that I was waiting to be divorced. I'm like, how is this possible?
Well, was there a lot tied up with property and the
No,
company?
it was
not?
he just wanted to fight. He
Oh.
wanted to fight. He wouldn't let go. I was, going to court every week or two for ex parte
Boo.
motions. And I'm like, this has to stop. Like, I just told my lawyer. Eventually, that was why I came back.
Gotcha.
Because that divorce started in 2008. And then in 2010, I said, that's it. I am done. And that was just halfway through the divorce.
Wow.
So that's when I came back here.
Oh, so Pittsburgh.
Right.
So 2010, you came back, you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, so you haven't been back here long at all.
No, I still need a GPS to get around. My family are like, what do you mean you need a GPS? You're from Pittsburgh. I said, yeah. And I had 6 months of driving before I left.
Yeah. And you were gone for a good chunk of your adulthood there.
And I left when I was 17, so I really don't have a lot of driving experience.
Right. And did you grow up in the
Here.
city of Pittsburgh, or was it?
It was outside. It was I grew up in a very rural area.
Yeah, so there's no way in hell you're going to figure
Yeah,
out.
I
You're just
know.
going to not know. You're
Not
just
at
going to know
all.
how to get around Pittsburgh. There are plenty of places, because Pittsburgh is so unique in the way that, first of all, there's no grid system downtown with the
Right.
streets,
It's-
for one.
No.
Two, you can you could miss your turn and think that, oh yeah, I can make the next one. No,
No.
you will make that next turn and end up in Cranberry some damn where. It's not
Right.
intuitive.
It's definitely not.
It's it's really crazy. So yes, you still do your GPS, and that's fine. It's okay.
But I got rid of the Susan voice because she was dismissive and she seems like she was yelling at me every time I missed a turn. Now I have Stephen Fry's voice on my GPS, which I love because he's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I know.
I heard one of my friends has the Morgan Freeman voice on her GPS, and I am just tickled by it.
He's nice and calming.
Yes.
Like I was gonna get the John Cleese voice, but he's too crazy.
No, he's a little. It's like, all right, I need to just please stop. Yeah, and at the end, like once you get to your place with the Morgan Freeman. He's like, you've reached your destination. It was my pleasure assisting you in your journey, or something.
Stephen Fry's like, congratulations, You've reached your destination. I think I'm falling in love with you.
Perfect.
I know. Who doesn't like to hear that?
Right? That is just an ego boost every time, no matter what. So you came back here and now you own AMS Consulting?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, well, since it's Pittsburgh. Oh, I forgot to tell you.
What?
I was located downtown in Manhattan, 2 blocks south of Houston Street. Mm-hmm. And when 9/11 happened, it was horrible. Like, that's why the shooting gallery isn't there anymore. That's why a lot of companies just went under.
So you were there for that.
I was there for that.
Wow.
Yeah. And
oh, my God.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That must have been absolutely terrifying.
It was, well, I was on a boat in Tahiti when the actual, day that happened. And it was weird because I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 3:00 in the morning and I could only get like the Armed Forces Network on the TV. And I saw, one of the towers burning and I'm like, oh, that must be from like 1993 or whatever. I didn't think anything of it. And then I saw the second plane fly in to the tower and I was like, what is going on? And I was freaking out. And it's like, trying to use a sat phone to call everyone I knew and is everyone okay, and I'm gonna let everyone know that I'm okay, and I remember talking to my mom and I couldn't call anyone in New York. All the lines were dead. I mean, they just would. I don't know what they. I was
here in Pittsburgh and tried to call people in Atlanta, and it was still just like you couldn't get through to anything anywhere. It's like everybody in the world was trying to make a phone call. Yeah. Ooh. But,
when I talked to my mom and I was like, I'm in Tahiti, I'm okay. And she said, you're safe there. She's like, don't come back. Don't go. Like, obviously, we had to come back.
How long was it before? How long?
A couple of weeks.
Really?
I was there for like a month. But, flying after that was a little weird.
I'm sure.
But I was like, what are the chances of something like that happening again?
So soon after.
Right.
Yeah.
But, for 2 months or more downtown, like those buildings were burning. There was this gross smell in the air.
Oh, my God.
And then you walk down there and it was like papers everywhere. Like these steel buildings fell down and there's paper everywhere. How the hell did that happen? How did the paper make it?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay. It's like, yeah, that's.
But it was so sad and it was just unbelievable. And anyway, that we took a huge hit on the business because the National Guard were across Houston Street. They wouldn't let anyone downtown unless you lived there.
Oh my goodness.
And, some clients, so clients couldn't get to us. Some clients just closed or moved away. So in early 2003, I had to make a decision. Like I couldn't go on this way. And so I moved to LA.
Oh.
Bless you.
Thank you. So it wasn't New York, Pittsburgh. You moved to LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moved to LA.
And what was happening in LA?
Well, we had a lot more competition out there, but we had already, established a name for ourselves, and so we did even better out there, and it was great. And I loved the weather, and I started sailing, and I bought a boat, and I'm like, this is awesome.
How long were you in LA?
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 years. 2003 to 2010.
That's amazing. So, and you came back to Pittsburgh.
And then I came back to Pittsburgh. Yep. And I was sad at first. And I missed, sailing. And I missed my friends. And, I had this great business that was doing really well. And I was making a crazy amount of money. And
it seemed like you were living a pretty sweet life.
Yeah, it was. But, all things end,
Yeah.
But then
Seasons.
they're all like, yeah, right. But but it was like a perfect storm that brought me back here. You know, it was, the divorce was big. That was the biggest thing, I think.
Right.
But also, my mother was having health issues. And then my sister was having kids and my brother was having kids, and I'd already missed out on 23 years. I mean, I would come home for a week during Christmas,
Right.
Maybe a few days during the summer, but other than that, that was it. And so that was a long time,
Yeah.
To be away from my family. I mean,
And
I
you
don't
close with your family?
very, yeah. A little too close now sometimes, but but no, I love them. They're great. So
Well, it sounds like, you made the right decision for you at that moment in your life. And,
Yeah.
You did a lot of living
Right.
up before that point. Like, you should have no regrets at, I don't know your life inside and out, but it
Right.
sounds like, you got to do a lot of things that most people did not get a chance to do, or even like most women would put family before career or what they wanted to experience in life. And I don't really want to make that contradiction or to make that comparison, but it's just like there are a lot of times that people in general, we just don't take that chance. We don't take those chances and the opportunities to go off to college, to go ahead and be like, make your own major or whatever, figure out like, all right, I'll do this, and take the challenge. Like, yes, no one can make this T.S. Eliot film. It's like, sure, I'll do it. Make a grant, get a grant and go off to Europe. And, and it's just, there are so many things that you've done, and to start a business in New York. And, as it, like, in the beginning of this technology that we, that everybody now has, now it's antiquated. DVDs, like, now everybody's just downloading movies.
Right.
So it's just, you have led a full life so far.
Yeah, I feel like
A lot of accomplishments.
I feel like I'm in my third or fourth one right now, just in this lifetime.
You've accomplished quite a bit.
Well, thank you.
And I see, that's why I love doing this podcast, man. Like, just sitting down and talking to somebody and letting them tell you their story. And, I highly doubt that there would have been a point in time where we would have had to just sit down and talk, and to where I get to hear what your story is and to find out what you're, who you are.
Yeah. Well, I have to be on the other side of the table at some point. This isn't fair.
Nope. This is how it's gonna work. My court, my rules. So AMS Consulting.
Yes. Now, since I've been back, I pretty much do. I've done websites, I've edited books, and I've done some project management contract work for different companies around the greater Pittsburgh area. And that's, as far as work goes, it's kind of like that. But it's okay.
Was there anything in particular that drew you to that type?
Just because, I had been managing marketing and advertising projects for 15 years or whatever. And, kind of felt, or at that time, it was around over 10, 15, I don't know. But
good chunk of time to make you know what you're doing.
Right. But like, since that is not happening here,
right.
I had to make a decision. I had to do something.
Right.
Yeah. So
do you think there's a possibility that you would get back into doing some sort of like marketing and whatnot for films? There's like here in Pittsburgh, because there's.
I would love to, but again.
Or even like the independent ones, because those kids need help.
Right. Well, exactly. They need help. That's the thing.
I know there's some of them that won't be able to pay you properly, but there are some that have it in the budget to come up with some to have a marketing team.
Yeah, I would totally do that. I'd be open to any of that. I did shoot a pilot for a TV show called He's Going Green in Nashville in 2012.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I was there for a couple of months.
What was your role? What you director?
Producer, director. Yeah. It was a reality show, but it was more of like an intelligent reality show, kind of an educational.
Yes.
It's about this guy he's a lawyer. He's from Brooklyn. He buys this 20-acre horse farm right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And he doesn't know what he's doing. It's kind of like Green Acres, but like, real life Green Acres. And he has a wife and 3 daughters, and they all think he's nuts. He wants every episode of the show was him getting one step closer to living off the grid. So like the first episode was the wood stove, second episode was like a chicken coop, and the third episode was a greenhouse. And so,
God,
you know,
never let
like
my
that.
husband see that. I didn't hear anything about that.
And I still think that, you know, I would rather see a show like that on TV than the Kardashians.
Oh my God, yes. Like, yeah, no, that just makes more sense. You're right. It's a little more educational, a little more highbrow. It serves a purpose.
Yeah. And again, like, you could do this too. You could do it. Maybe if you live in a city, maybe you can't do everything, but you could do something.
Yeah, to just kind of like, you know, lessen your carbon footprint on this earth.
Right.
Are you pretty conscious and aware of that sort of thing with the whole green living?
I try to be.
Come on.
I recycle. I've project managed solar projects.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like all over America. From Pittsburgh, home base. But
nice.
Yeah, like I think, you know, I have the car that I have gets 40 miles a gallon. You know, I used to have a bigger car with a bigger engine that, you know, wasn't so friendly with the gas. But so, you know, I try to make a difference. Yeah. In a good way.
There's no judgment here. Do you find it difficult at times to just to work from home? Or do you have to step outside and like go to a coffee shop? And
no, I can't work in a coffee shop.
Really?
I don't know how people do that. It's so loud and people are like talking everywhere and I couldn't do that.
See, my problem with working from home is I get distracted by chores and things, or maybe it's not distraction so much as it's procrastination, but I procrastinate to do another project.
Well, what I do, I try to have a schedule, like a daily schedule. I get up at 5:30 and I listen to my guided meditations, and then, you know, pretty much from 6 to 3, I'm working. And in that time, you know, like I'll do my emails first, and then I'll do the calls, and then I'll get up and I'll do a chore, because, you know, sitting is the new cancer.
Right. Yes.
So like,
my mom sent me a text the other day. She's like, you know, if you sit more than 3 hours, you get to. I'm like,
right. So that's what I do. I mean, I will get, you know, okay, it's been an hour. I'll get up and I'll go do a chore, you know, and then I'll come back and I'll do this, and then I'll get up and I'll go do another chore.
Oh, you're so disciplined.
You have to be. Like, and the first thing I do, I make my bed every day, because if I don't,
just gonna crawl right back in.
I would be like, yeah, it's so gonna be so easy to just get right back in there, because, you know, it's all unmade and it's so looks so inviting. Like,
God bless you, man. Kudos to you for being able to pull that shit off.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, like you should know by now. I should know. Well, what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
I don't even know what, I mean.
How do you want people to look at Alyson? Like, remember Alyson fondly?
Just as a good person and somebody who could make them laugh, you know, that would be good.
I think you're okay there.
Thanks.
What haven't you done yet that you want to do?
Well, there's still some traveling that I'd like to do. I haven't, I don't know. I'd like to find love.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily get married, but, you know, it'd be nice to just feel so comfortable in a relationship that, you know, it's like being married.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you need that piece of paper.
No, I don't think so. Like, you know, a lot of people don't need that, or, you know, their lives don't necessarily have to focus around that. And, you know, just having that chill partner for life is good.
Right. And yeah, kids are kind of, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I might adopt someday, but I have, you know, 3 nieces and a nephew. And so I'm okay with being cool Aunt Alyson.
Now you came back like early in their lives.
Pretty early. Yeah.
So that's pretty great. So you got in on the ground floor.
Yeah, the 11-year-old is the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yes. The cool Aunt Alyson. How do you take care of yourself? Like, how do you make sure that Alyson is all right?
Mentally, like, I meditate and I read And I exercise, probably not enough, but I
Enough
try.
to keep your heart rate healthy, man.
Yeah, I have an elliptical at home, and I have an exercise bike and weights and a ball and 50 exercise DVDs that I hardly ever watch. But my favorite one that I've had it for years, and I keep doing it. I mean, at least I'll do it at least once a month. Is Brian Kest's power yoga series? It's like
Power yoga.
Yeah, it's on exactly because I don't have time to stand there and hold one pose for 10 minutes. You move really quick. You start sweating right away. It takes 45 minutes and you're done.
Oh my God.
And there's 3 different workouts on this one DVD, so it's great.
All right. So on that note, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and you get asked a bunch of random questions.
Okay. Yay.
All right. Now it's time to really get to know you. We're going to
Okay.
figure out what these random questions
The
dig
speed
up.
round. Time for the speed round.
Speed-ish. Like, you don't have to, I don't want you to feel rushed.
Okay.
Okay. What album can you listen to from beginning to end?
I bought the Chess Blues collection when I was in college.
What is that?
It's 4 CDs of awesomeness. It's like John Lee Hooker, Little Walter, Etta James.
Wow.
It is. I mean, I will never get tired of listening to that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. What's your favorite color?
To wear black, to look at blue, like the ocean.
Nice. Are you usually late, early, or right on time?
Usually right on time.
Favorite pizza topping?
Favorite pizza topping? I don't know. I like extra sauce, and on top, I mean, I don't know, mushrooms.
Are you not a pizza connoisseur? Are you not?
I love pizza.
You're just like, I've never met a pizza I didn't like.
That's pretty much the case.
That's fine. Okay.
I don't like green peppers because ew.
Yeah. All right. I'll get behind that. Favorite word?
Favorite word? Beautiful.
Do you still own any cassette tapes?
No. Not
Really?
anymore.
Just got rid of them all?
I got rid of them all.
What did you?
I gave them all to my roommate Scooter in Florida.
So you had a roommate named Scooter?
Yes, and he only has old cars, like really old cars. So I'm like, you want these? Because I'm done.
Okay. What was your first job?
My first job was a golf caddy for Fox Chapel Golf Course.
Really?
I was the only female caddy there.
Oh, wow. Do you still play golf? Or
Oh,
do you play golf?
I'm horrible. I'm awful.
Last book you read?
The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
I am currently reading that.
Yeah.
Favorite song to sing?
There's so many. But Where Is My Mind by the Pixies is a good one.
Nice. That's a good one. Would you survive the zombie apocalypse?
Yes, because zombies are stupid and they're slow.
Thank you. Celebrity you would love to have dinner with?
I think I'd like to have dinner with Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, he'll be here tomorrow.
I know. Gonna get on that. Gonna call somebody. Gonna call his people and set that up.
You never should be like, what is it? Like, you should never be more than 5 phone calls. You are never more than 5 phone calls away from what you want or something like that.
Yeah.
Some stuff that Dan told me. I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but that's what he claims. Do you know any jokes?
Not any clean ones. No, probably not. Although my dad, we were at a pilot club meeting the other day, and he ran into this woman, this older woman, and she had been widowed twice. And my dad's like, "Oh, that's so sad. And what happened to the first husband?" And the woman said, "Well, he ate a poisonous mushroom and died." And my dad's like, "Oh, that's terrible. You know, what happened to the second one?" she said, she said, oh, he had a skull fracture. And my dad's like, what? A skull fracture? And he's like, she said, yeah, he wouldn't eat the poisonous mushroom.
That's a good one. What makes you bored?
What makes me bored? Listening to Donald Trump speak.
He gives me cramps.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of the human face and why?
Eyes, I think, because they're the windows to the soul.
Favorite cartoon?
Archer.
Yes. Can you do any accents?
Not really.
Really?
Nah.
Even after living in London?
I
Can you drive a stick?
can. Yeah.
Do you remember your dreams?
Sometimes. I feel like I have more lucid dreams when I'm traveling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
Because you're in a different place and you're not, not
Boggled
you're
down
not
by
in
real
the,
life?
Not in the comforts of your own home. So I think I don't know, whatever it is, I can always remember my dreams more when I travel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
It depends on the day. I like coffee, but like after 12 cups, then I have to take a break and then switch to tea.
Do you like clowns?
No.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Huh. Oh, there's so many. I would like to be able to fly or like to transport myself anywhere or to be invisible.
I think the invisible one, no. But I always pick invisible because I feel like it kind of helps with the other one. It's kind of the same purpose as the other ones, like flying and transporting yourself, because at least you'd be able to travel for free.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just kind of slip on anywhere.
Yeah. And when you're having a bad day and you're like,
right,
go to your happy place, you could actually go to your happy place.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, Prince.
You never get tired of blank.
Etta James.
If I gave you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Probably back to Tahiti.
I bet that water was like extremely blue.
Oh my goodness. It was
gorgeous.
so crystal clear.
Describe yourself in one word.
Resilient.
You did it!
Woo!
Oh, that's your podcast!
Yay!
Look at you. Look at you. You did great. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Me too.
Thank you for taking this time out with me.
Of course.
You have anything you want to promote or websites or anything like that where we can find your past movies and stuff?
Yeah, I have some on my website. I'll give you my card.
Okay. What's your we're still on.
Okay.
What's your
I didn't know we were still recording.
What's your website?
It's www.alysonstephan.net, and that's Alyson with a Y.
Sweet. All right. So again, thank you, Alyson.
Thank you.
And as always, you guys can check me out at RuggedAngel.com, and you can also follow me on Twitter at @the_RuggedAngel. Like, review, rate, follow iTunes, SoundCloud, all the things. Remember, whatever you do, do it with passion or not at all.